Hey again, everybody. It's Zach. I'm back again this week, kind of on time-ish. I still gotta edit this thing, so hopefully it'll be out by the end of the night. Cause my editing isn't like top tier, but mostly because I just don't put a lot of time into editing. Put more time into trying to paint. So this is my fourth week, which is doing good for me. Once I get into the habit of doing these, it should just come smoothly, like me going to the gym. So this week, I didn't get a lot done, um, mostly because I kind of underestimated how long it would take me to do some things. It took me a couple hours to just get some purple paint on some models. So I finished dry brushing all of my skeletons, and I put purple coloring on half the skeletons on their cloth and on all of the cloth on the mounts, like the skeleton horses. And you'll see that here in a second. I'm going to cut to that. We're going to cut here, and you're going to see what I've done so far this week, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. See you in a Okay, so this is what I've got done this week. Um, he's just here for reference. I really haven't done much on him since last week. So the reason he's here for reference is this is going to be my my starter box army that I'm gonna try and play with my roommate. So I've got 10 skeletons here with swords, 5 black knights, and my vampire lord on the zombie dragon. So this week I got all this nice purple on anything cloth they have. Like some of these guys don't have any cloth on them. They've just got like leather straps and stuff. But, you know, cloth on the shield, cloth on the groin. And then, of course, I've dry brushed them. I'm actually going to, after going through this, I'm going to link together a video I took last week of me doing a little bit of dry brushing, just to give a little bit of that and show on how that works for my friends that don't really know much about painting. So this guy I've got. Let's see. This guy I've got his shield dry brushed that like bone color, mostly because I kind of wanted like a pine look to it. I'm not sure that it's what I'm gonna stick with, but it looks all right for now. So I've got a full unit of 10 of these dudes. This guy you saw last week, if you wanted some closer looks of him. I haven't started any on the vampire on top. He's pegged there, so he can come off, because I'm going to paint him separately. But yeah, I've got more work to do on him. I'm going to paint these like little muscle places where you can see where the skin's torn and you can see muscle. I'm going to paint all that red and wash it dark colored. Like there on the arms. And down in here. Then I've got the knights. I've got that purple on. It's looking really good. It took me a while to get on it because there's a lot of cloth there. And then up underneath, there's a lot of cloth in there too. But I dry brushed the horses, and I dry brushed the dudes, although they didn't have much a lot of times. I'm not sure if I'm going to give them purple coloring. I have been thinking about using what's called That's not right. Here we go. These two are transfer bottles. So I've got a sanguine highlight and a sanguine base. And the sanguine base is this really like dark red, almost like a deep purple. And then the highlight is this kind of like crimson. And I've been thinking about doing that for this guy's armor. So what I might do is I might do his armor that color, and I might do these knights, either their metal armor that color or their cloth that color. If I do their metal armor that color, actually I kind of want to do rusty armor on these guys. So I'll probably do rusty armor and then the cloth this color. But they're turning out well. I've got these guys back here. They're all dry brushed. I hadn't gotten around to putting a purple on them. This is the purple I've been using for their base coat purple. This, what is it? Xerexis purple. Looks good. I'm going to highlight with, I don't know if I'll dry brush and then highlight, or I might tone up. I don't know. We'll see when it comes to it and how much work I actually want to put into this. It's really what it boils down to. I haven't touched these guys back here. I haven't touched these guys back here, mostly because what I'm gonna do is I've had friends ask if I wanted, or ask for me to stream. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint these guys on stream, like 100%. So I'll post that up on my stream, and when I get around to streaming it, I'll put a link to it either in this video or the next video, because I do kind of want to start these sometime this week, and when I stream it'll be pretty late at night, because I get home from work around 11 or 1 o'clock in the morning, just depending on if I go to the gym or not. So with that, I would like to paint these guys like 100% just on stream, because they're a little bit more unique looking models, so they're going to be a little bit more in depth and detail that I'd like to paint them to, even though some of them just look like the regular guys. Speaking of which, I'm probably going to use this guy and this guy to fill in when I want to run 20 of these and I don't want to run 2 banners and 2. So say I don't want to run 2 of both of these guys. So those guys will be fill-in models. Although I only need 1 fill-in model, because of the fact that I have 21 of these skeleton guys right now. Mostly because when I built my 30 spear dudes and my 20 sword dudes, I had 1 extra because of the guy I pulled out of the bits box, because he was mostly just bits and pieces put together. So he'll be he's kind of a more unique looking model in the case of those guys. So I'm going to cut here to a recording of me dry brushing a couple of these guys. It's actually like both sets of these guys and a little bit of one other guy. So that'll give you a little idea on what dry brushing works, or on what dry brushing looks like. And we'll talk a little bit about it. I'll speed it up, and we'll talk over it, and I'll talk over it a little bit just to give you an idea of what I'm doing. And at the beginning of it, I show you an example of what dry brushes are. And then afterwards, I'm going to talk a little bit about the new death stuff and the new information that I've heard from Games Workshop about the new version of Age of Sigmar. Mostly because I just kind of wanted to get it out there, and I kind of wanted to shove it into this video, because everybody and their mother, who's way more popular than this channel, has already talked about all the changes and stuff that they're looking at. I might just talk about the skeleton guy or the. I'm probably just going to talk about the nighthaunt, and I'll leave the new version of Warhammer to talk about when the book comes out, because I'm going to try to pick up the book when it comes out. Alright, I'll see y'all in a little bit. And from there, you'll see a little bit of painting. Alright, see you in a second. Alright, here I'm just kind of showing you off what a dry brush looks like. These are the two I use the most. As you can see, they look beat to crap. Like, absolutely destroyed, but that's kind of their purpose, is to get beat up. Which, these here are really nice dry brushes, and I haven't touched them, which kind of defeats their purpose. The tips are really, like, fanned out. And I've seen a lot of people use makeup brushes for dry brushing, because it's kind of the same thing. But I really ought to use the nicer brushes at some point. And I'm going to cut ahead a little bit, and we're going to show you a little bit of what dry brushing is, and then I'll talk to you a little bit about some other stuff. Alright, so with dry brushing, you want to take out just the regular bit of paint. You don't want to water it down at all. Because what you're going to do is you're going to get your brush covered in paint, and then you're going to brush most of the paint off of it. Yeah, that right there, I was discovering that dry brush was really, really too stiff to work with. I have since, although you're not supposed to put a brush in alcohol because it dries out the bristles and it'll ruin the ferrule. That one was so stiff, and it's a dry brush, so I didn't really care too much. Alright, you can see the technique is just get a little bit of paint on your brush, rub it all the way through the brush, and then get as much of it off, and then just kind of go at it. You just back and forth, back and forth. I think next time I film any of the me painting, I will figure out a better place to put the camera than besides the back of my hand. I can't really put it in front of me because that's where my arms are. And a lot of times I can't put it above me. You can see right there the difference between it being dry brushed and not being dry brushed. You can see the lighter color on there. But yeah, that's just a little bit of dry brushing. So I'm going to stop it here, and we're going to go. I'm going to talk a little bit about the new nighthaunt stuff, just a little bit here in the end, because I'm interested in talking about it, and it's cool, and I like it, and I've got a little bit of problems with some of the models, and I'll discuss with that in a second. Alright, so the new faction that's coming out, although I guess technically they were a faction beforehand, but they didn't have a lot of models yet. So the new fleshed out faction is a sub-faction of death. That's the nighthaunt. And the nighthaunt are really cool, mostly because they're ghosts. One of the big things I'm a little apprehensive about is how thin a lot of these are connected at their bases. So while they look cool and floaty, they also look extremely brittle.
I really like the little rat ghosts down here in the corner. They look really cool. I'm probably not going to talk any mechanics or anything on them until the books are out. I'm just going to kind of gush on how cool most of these models look, and then I'm going to focus one on particular how I don't particularly like the look of the model, and when I get it, I'll probably modify it. So I just really like pretty much all of these. The ball and chain ghosts here remind me of the Marley brothers from the Muppets. So I swear every time I put them in play, I'm gonna sing the damn Marley and Marley song. The the uh, the guy on the horse, that ghost horse looks so cool. Like people were saying that it's its skin, but I think it's more along the lines of it's like wreathed in penumbra. So it's got like shadows on it. So even because it looks even like deep in the recesses of the ribs, it looks like the shadows are like coming off of it. It's really neat. The scythe dudes are just scythe dudes. I don't think there's anything special about them. I think it's really cool that we get like rat ghost skeletons though. Even though they're supposed to be humans in the lore for some reason. You know, you got your like soul warden guy in the back. So what I really wanted to talk about was this guy. This guy looks neat, except this whole gallows pole situation on his back makes him look goofy because it looks masking taped to his back, and he's just a little over designed. Like if it was just him without the gallows pole and the spirits, like a headsman axe and a ghost. Yeah, sure, he's an executioner with a headsman axe. Yeah, that looks cool. But with the gallows pole on his back, he looks a little silly. Unless that's some sort of weapon. We'll see when the rules come out. Even then, I'm probably, when I get him, I'm probably just going to cut that off and like green stuff over the bandages that are tying it to his back. All right, so there's my 2 cents on that, and I'll see you here in a second.
All right. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, like it. If you want to talk to me, comment on it, or hit me up on Twitter. I'm on Twitter like all the time. Uh, if you really liked it, subscribe. I really don't know if I'll get a following on this, but it's something that I'm kind of enjoying doing. So I'll see you next week. Hopefully, better timing because work and doing stuff. Mostly, I played a lot of Hearthstone yesterday on Wednesday, and I don't really like Hearthstone that much, but I got really into trying to beat the single player. So, anyways, see you next week.